Today we're with L.J. Maxey. He's a retired DEA agent. He's been living in Bridgeport for the past 23 years with his family. He's also a small business owner in the community. This is his first attempt at a seat on Bridgeport City Council. L.J., Bridgeport has seen significant success and growth. Do you believe that growth is being managed well? What would you do differently?
Generally speaking, the growth of Bridgeport, I think, has been managed fairly well to this point. I think sometimes there is a lack or perhaps a failure by some city leaders to communicate well with the public and the business community. The objectives and direction council wants to take the city must be clearly communicated in open forums, and perhaps maybe some turnover on the Planning Commission and or the Economic Development Commission would help in this area. But I believe there may be some business owners in the city who feel shut out of the planning and future of the city. And I don't think there should be any business owner, no business owner should feel he or she is not a part of, I guess for lack of a better term, the in crowd. And I want to make sure that we concentrate, that we do not concentrate on new growth at the sacrifice or the expense of, or while overlooking the downtown and some of the mainstay businesses of Bridgeport.
LJ, what's your views on government transparency? Is Bridgeport government open enough for its residents?
Well, open and honest government is the theme of my campaign, and I would propose that the entire budget of the city of Bridgeport be posted both on the official city website and as well the Connect Bridgeport website. And I would further propose that department head budget requests be posted so that people can see exactly what council is going to start their work from to prepare a budget. The final budget should be posted showing where every penny of tax revenue will be spent, regardless of the source of that revenue. And I believe every budget revision proposed throughout the fiscal year and the document supporting the revision, including the finance director's conclusions and report, should be posted in the same manner. Having attended some city council meetings, it appears much of the debate among members has occurred off the record. Maybe this process helps the meeting run smoother or faster, but it may keep the people from hearing the thoughts and positions of council members in reaching their decisions. So I will not participate in and will call out anyone who tries to conduct city business behind closed doors. There is a purpose for executive sessions, which are very limited in subject matter, and those executive sessions should not be abused.
LJ, are you pleased with the city's current direction? How would you improve it?
Well, Bridgeport is very fortunate and is a very unique city in many respects, especially in our present economic climate. And sitting back, it would appear that any city with budget surpluses like Bridgeport must be doing things right. However, city leaders and the citizens should not be lured into a false sense of security with budget surpluses. Those surpluses, or as some have referred to them as net profit, should not be spent just because they exist and all vital services have been met. And although Bridgeport is an old community, I believe it has transitioned well into a modern city. The city charter voted on and adopted in 1983 showed wisdom of leaders then in establishing a city manager form of local government to administer the daily operations of the city. One of my main concerns is that the city is growing so quickly that basic government services such as police and fire protection are not keeping up with that growth. It takes considerable time to hire and train both police and fire personnel. To me, those are the most basic and important responsibilities government has the constitutional obligation to meet. I also want to make sure that water and sewer infrastructure is sufficient to handle the future growth. And recreation is important to a healthy lifestyle, but developing a multi-million-dollar recreation complex at the expense of other vital services is something I'll look at very closely. And even though some of the development funds for the rec complex have come from sources other than general revenue, they will have to be maintained with general revenue funding. So I think that that's something that I will pay particular attention to.
LJ, do you support the fire fee as it's currently implemented? What changes would you make?
Well, based on what I have read and know about the Bridgeport fire fee, I do support its intent. However, I believe, as I think most people do, both those inside and outside the city that are affected by the fee, that it's a tax. And you can call it whatever you want, but anytime the government forces you to pay money to the government, it's a tax. And it's unfortunate that it has brought about litigation, and I hate to see lawyers and the courts get involved in anything. But the fact is, Bridgeport Fire Department is a paid department. City residents pay the tax or fee for service. I myself pay about $6.66 a month. I believe there's more work to be done on this issue, especially if the Supreme Court upholds the Harrison County Circuit Court ruling that the city has the authority to charge the fee to everyone in the first response area of Bridgeport Fire Department. The fire department is a department that concerns me most regarding sufficient staffing levels for both the public and the members of the department's safety. I do not believe that the fire fee should be used as an excuse not to appropriate sufficient general revenue funds to bring the fire department to the standards needed to protect the public. With UHC and the added growth of White Oaks and Charles Point apartments and townhouses throughout the city, the airport, and miles of interstate highway now in the city, I don't think we're prepared to handle and respond to multiple simultaneous incidents requiring emergency services provided by the fire department, which include ambulance service. The Bridgeport Fire Department cannot be expected to continue to operate like a volunteer department. There are some tough choices to be made in this area, especially regarding ambulance service to those people outside the city.
Yeah, LJ, on June 11th, when residents vote, what makes you the right choice for them?
Well, since retiring from DEA, actually at the beginning of this year, I began service as a volunteer on the Bridgeport Emergency Services Council. And I believe my expertise in public service, in public safety and emergency services will benefit the people of Bridgeport. I believe I could bring some balance to City Council in this particular area. I have 35 years of state and federal law enforcement experience, almost all devoted to drug law enforcement. I ran the DEA office in Clarksburg for nearly 18 years and a 22 county area of responsibility. I want to make sure the city of Bridgeport is never left vulnerable to the scourge of drug traffickers, and I think electing me will make sure there is experience and expertise on City Council in this area and the area of general public safety. Drug trafficking and abuse, drug abuse brings all kinds of other criminal activity to our city. The drug problem was a major issue in last year's sheriff race in Harrison County. The voters in Bridgeport showed overwhelming support for my experience and positions during my attempt to become sheriff. And I hope they'll give me their support and an opportunity to serve them on City Council. I am retired and operate a small investigative consulting business part-time in Bridgeport. I set my own schedule, and I don't think that any other member of council will be more available to the citizens than I will. And if elected, I will not serve more than 2 terms. I will term limit myself.